Hey, my name is Ellie, and you are watching the Calibrated Concepts YouTube channel or listening to the Capable Collective podcast. And I want to talk you through my quiz. I think that a quiz is as we know, as small business owners, we have to have some sort of opt in or freebie or lead magnet or one of these things in business. And I've had so many over the years, but I decided 2-ish years ago to try and set up a quiz. And I want to talk you through that decision, what I chose to go with, how I formatted it, what I've tweaked about it over the last 2 years, and what I've learned. A quiz can be a really, really valuable lead magnet in a myriad of ways. So I want to get into it. So the first thing is I wanted to go with a quiz because I wanted it to be really interactive. So that was one goal I wanted to accomplish. I really also wanted it to show through my business's personality. And I also had pivoted from a business model that did like one thing. I did websites to a business model that helped with websites and various types of small business systems. So simplifying things through email marketing or project management tools, or to make sure that I was providing value for all of those people. So with the quiz, they were able to diagnose their biggest time suck, pain point, drain, problem in their business at that moment, at that phase of their business, and then get really valuable resources on how to either solve that problem themselves, or of course, there's ways to tie in with me if they want some extra help in that area. So that's why I thought a quiz would work out really, really well for my business. How I got started, it's something you should know about a quiz is that it is really labor intensive. Other versions of freebies, say a free download or a recorded workshop, a discount code, all are so much less intensive to create than this. So that's something that you should really know. Additionally, most of those are going to be cheaper by a long shot because you're not paying for an external software usually, maybe to actually collect those leads, but usually you're not paying for a quiz software. So you have to be really intentional about how much you're willing to put in, as well as being really intentional to make sure you're getting what you want out of it. So I got started by creating a really long document. I will show the YouTube viewers this here shortly. But essentially, I created a really long document that had the outcomes I wanted people. So that's where I started. I started by creating the outcomes of the 5 categories that I wanted them to land in. So whether that be the solution for their business was email marketing software, or whether that was a CRM like Dubsado, or if it was a website, or if it was like a project management tool, or those types of things. So I have 5 of them. You'll see them in the document here shortly. And then I built out the results first and the resources that they would need to take and the steps they would need to take to simplify their business with that in mind. Then from there, I went backwards and developed 10 questions that I think it's 10 questions that would then help me identify those people. And I tried to keep it fun. I tried to keep it lighthearted. I tried to keep it really short. I want people to be able to take the quiz in under a minute. And so really fun questions that help me to diagnose that. Other questions is like, which character and friends are you? Things like that. And then I give a little snippet as to like each thing about that person and friends, that character, so that I know. And then went through and highlighted each of those answers in a specific color so that it would give them points towards each of those results. So each result had a color that it was coordinated with it, and each question was then highlighted in that color, each response option. And then I went through and created the rest of the content. So you have to still have results pages. So I had to create what was going to be on each results page more detailed. We had to have the copy of here's why you should do this quiz, social media posts, like lots and lots of other content around that. So I got started by really looking at lots and lots of other people who had quizzes out there and like what I liked, what I wanted to emulate, what I didn't like about their quizzes. And then I iterated. I played with it for a year. I got some feedback from the quiz community. So I should say, I do my quiz through Interact. I looked at lots of different options. Interact works really well with Squarespace. It's more intuitive than a lot of the others. I really enjoyed building my quiz with Interact. I pay for the annual plan, so I get it a little bit cheaper, and I've had such good experiences with Interact. So that's how I got started. I really looked into all the other quizzes and what I wanted to do. Interact also has a lot of really good resources to help you get started, so I looked into some of those, used some of those as well. So before we get too much further, I want to tell you what I've learned from my quiz. One, and I knew this before because this is the same with any opt-in, but creating a really kick-ass opt-in doesn't necessarily mean people will find it. You've got to push and push and push and share and share and share and keep sharing with different communities so that the word gets out there and you can keep building that. So sharing it with your own social media, sharing it with other people's social medias, being on people's podcasts, like making sure to talk about it over and over and over and over again, because it's just otherwise people won't find it. And yes, you can have a pop-up on your website, and yes, you can have a banner on your website, and people will do those. So I actually really recommend a pop-up. It does get a bit tricksy as a software, like as in a website, I have to like manage, okay, do I want to have a pop-up? Don't forget that we legally have to have cookie banner if you're in the EU, if you have clients in the EU. So, and then you might have an announcement bar. So you don't want people to have to click too many things, exiting too many things to actually get to your website content. So at the moment, I only have my announcement bar, and then I have the quiz on its own page. But I think it might be time to reinstate the pop-up and remove the announcement bar, because there's phases of my business that makes the most sense. Okay, so make sure you push the heck out of it. It's a lot of work. I did tell you that already, but it is so much work. I spent hours and hours, probably a minimum of 10 hours, even just developing the quiz, getting it all set up right in Interact, creating all the assets. And that was for the first iteration. Since then, I've gone and done some testing. I've updated the headline. I've updated some of the images. I went and paid a quiz expert to do a sort of an audit power hour with me, and I went and took a lot of her feedback, and what we did from her feedback was make it even more personalized, adding even more gifs, making it sound even more like me, putting my face on the homepage of the quiz. We also rearranged some of the questions to make them in an order that just was more interactive. And then one of the other things we did was create proper results pages. So a couple of things happened after I'd started the quiz that were really helpful. One is that I use Flodesk for my email marketing, and now Interact has a native integration with Flodesk, which means before I had a really hard time sending specific email sequences to people who got different results, and now I can do that. So when people finish the quiz, they get two things. One is they get sent to a page in the back end of my website that is specific to them, and it has resources and help, and I'll show you all this. A lot of really good information for them. And it also has all those next steps they can take to solve that problem that they're having. The other thing is that they get an email sequence that's custom to them, or at least the first email. So the first email is like, hey, you got this quiz result. Here's the steps you can take. Don't forget, here's the link to that web page that has even more information for you. And then they get funneled into my general email sequence for the quiz takers. So then the rest of the emails they get are all the same. And that is just sort of a normal email funnel that helps them warm up, helps them get to know me better, helps them get to know my work better, how it can help them, and what they can expect from being a part of my email list, and decide if they want to keep hanging out with me. So those are the types of things that I've learned. You've got to make it fun. You've got to make it engaging. You've got to make it short. And the last thing I want to say is it's a data goldmine. Like having a quiz, you get to find out what your pain points are, how much money people are making, what industry they're in. You get to ask them a lot of information, and in a really quick, fun way. And so you get to know your community really, really well, and the people who are taking your quiz really, really well. All right, so this is where it's going to pivot. So thank you so much for hanging out. If you're here on the podcast, if you want to hear the rest, hop over here to YouTube, to my YouTube video, and you can watch a bit more about the quiz. All right, so I'm going to pause here and do some screen sharing. All right, so let's break down a little bit about actually what I've done to create this quiz. The first thing that I want to show you is this document I created. This is sort of the master document for my quiz. It's got a link to the quiz that I can share when I'm thinking about it. These are notes from that consultation I talked about: less stock imagery, more images of me, our hand-drawn icons added to it, a conversational tone, adding videos to the quiz results, like making that much more personal and engaging was a lot of the feedback I got from the quiz professional that I hired. You can see the key is a Sana, a Green, a Acuity, and these are more softwares that I'm talking about, but I'm actually pointing them more towards project management, towards time management, towards client communication, towards community connection, and towards a website. So you can see I've got my opt-in copy here. I've got my results segments and all the copy around that. And here's some things we should do. My team and I have tried to link in affiliates where we can and affiliate disclaimers, email sequence, videos that show the redirect page, video for the redirect page, video for the email sequence, those kinds of things. We've got lots of little tidbits in here. And then we've got, so the results for each page. And then when you get through all the results, and mostly the content I've used for these, I'd already created in some way, shape, or form. So like for the website, let's go results, sliding into home base. A lot of this copy I had taken from a blog post that I've turned into a YouTube video, all about like the things you need to do to create a website. I've created a lot of content about this in the past, so I didn't have to create this from scratch. I was able to just sort of copy and paste and then tweak it for purpose. Then we've got the quiz questions. These, I don't know if they're actually in the right range of them in the quiz, but the questions are the same. Just special, like what things will you choose? You're finding out what they value the most, like what they're looking for more. If it was their birthday and they got to pick a present, what would it be? Finding out they're like, and that's what they're sort of their emotional brain, with their more logical brain about if they had a business goal, what would they choose? What did they let go of? The things they're trying to like get free of. And this is all really relevant to me, but other quizzes that I've seen out there are really good for things like The Ordinary has a really fantastic quiz about like, what do you need for your skin? And there's lots and lots of quizzes out there. You've done tons of them in your time, I'm sure, but so be really creative and use what you might need. Mantra, your friend's character, and you can see I've done a little bit of a demo a little bit of like why I'm that friend's character to make sure they're picking the right character, not out of what's in their head, but what's in mine. And then we've got a little bit of stuff that's just info about them. So it might not push them towards any specific result. It's just info that I need. So like, what's your big income goal? What describes the work that you do? And those kinds of things. Those are more data for me. So the next thing I want to show you is the actual quiz editor in Interact. So hopefully I might need me to sign in again. Let's see. Okay, so you can see my quiz now. If I'm on the higher paid plan, I could remove the Interact branding here. I'm not currently. So I've got where is, and then in the images says your business costing you. Discover your personalized path to simplicity in less than 30 seconds. Take the quiz. And so this has been iterated on. I sometimes change it up, but that's the vibe I want at all times. I've got a new photo shoot I've done. I might add that. So this is constantly being tweaked. We kind of reevaluate it at least once a quarter, just tweak a few things, keep it fresh. You can see we've got it integrated with Flodesk. We've set it in the opt-in form, and then we've mapped quiz data to my email list, and you'll see that in a moment. So it means that we've connected those people to their own segments inside Flodesk. Okay, so we've got the questions set up, and you can see, again, pictures of me. If I were to pick a mantra right now, what would it be? And I've got those. And you can see we've rearranged these a little bit. If you're a friend's character, that's that second question because it's a little bit more fun right off the top. And I've got these as friends gifs. This one doesn't have an image. Pick one goal to focus on. And I've got one set up, but I think I sometimes you can choose to hide it or show it. This was clearly a gif at one point, and I haven't picked a new one. And then we've got icons that are handmade. These are ones that I have in my business, I had made for the business. And so we've got a question there. It's your special day. So that was one we had at first. And again, we've hidden some of these because there's those stock images we've talked about. And we don't need an image with every single question. We just want enough to keep it fun and personal. And then we've got the last question. And so I think I've got 1, 2, 3, I think 7-ish, 8 questions. And then you can do branching logic. I've not done that. And then we've got the results pages. Now you can see here that you can create these in Interact, and I once had them in Interact, just really simple ones, but I wanted to be able to give my clients more personalization, more of that, like, I'm a website designer pizzazz. And so instead of just having these little simple, I don't know if you can see them. No, you can't really. You can kind of see it in the background there. Little simple results pages that just had like a little bit of text, an image, and a button. I've gone instead and set up these types of pages. So you've got your quiz result, and it redirects you to this page when you finish. And then you say, you need some, and it's all highlighted. And it's the same content, but you've also got a video about that I've got that can help you take more information, take more steps. I've created videos on most of this content because it's this type I talk about, the type of stuff that I teach and that I work with. And then we've got a little bit about me, and then a bit that they can work with. So this is, I'm Ellie, your system obsessed friend. It's got, they're like step-by-step about what to do, and then some free or some ways that they can really go from there. I need to tweak this because that $9 one should not be there, but the other ones all should. So, and that's how they all look. I have duplicated this page over and over again, updated the quiz results name, updated this little snippet of text, updated the video, updated this, and then the rest stays pretty much the same. So that's the results pages. They're super helpful. They're also just completely on brand, which feels really good. And they're just packed full of value with these videos and then the step-by-steps. The last thing that happens is people who do the quiz, they also get added to my email list. And then they first would get one of these emails. And these emails have all been sequenced out into a full doc. But the other thing you should know is some of this stuff I held help from ChatGPT. So I had it help me create, you can see in here, some of these emails. I popped in the entirety of my master document, and then I had it help me generate email sequences. So I told it, if I can get this to load, I told it, here's my Google, I put it, the whole document as a PDF. I had it summarize it so I made sure it understood. And then I had it create or outline the email sequences for me. And then it had it re-outline the emails for number 5, and then had it create subject lines. And then I really wrote those out myself after that. But definitely can harness at least some of the brain power and speed the process up with things like ChatGPT. And so I've got one of these for each, and I'll show you the one for Busy Bee. So I've got an email for each of these, and it's got your result, and it kind of has some of that same information, and then it's got the handy video that takes them back to that page, and some things they can do, and steps, just to make it really quick and easy for them at all times. And then we're going to make sure to publish this again, maybe. And then it puts them through the rest of my general email new sequence. So I've got the people that don't come through my email list or for my quiz. I've got people who come in through my quiz, and then after they each get their first 1 or 2 emails, it funnels them into my general, like, this is what you should know about the business funnel. So that's all about my quiz. If you have any questions about Interact, about Flodesk, and about quizzes, about how we developed our quiz, let me know. This has been a lot of fun. This is what I do. And so I'm not a quiz expert, but I am a systems expert. I know and I've been playing with this software now for 2 years. So if you have any questions about how it could work for your business, or if you have questions about systems software in general,